Hey guys, welcome to this video lecture series on the subject of energy technology. I'm Harsh Panchal, Assistant Professor in Chemical Engineering Department of LJIET Institute of Engineering and Technology. In previous video, we have started the chapter of energy efficiency in thermal utilities, and we have discussed the fuel and combustion part, in which we have seen different properties of fuel. Well, now in this video, we are going to start with the storage and handling of fuel. Well, it can be potentially hazardous to store fuel in open tank. A better practice is to store fuel in cylindrical tanks. Well, it is very well known fact that we cannot store fuels in an open tank, as they will evaporate or they can easily get fire up. So, better practice is to store fuel in cylindrical cell. Well, a certain amount of settlement of solid and sludge will always occur in the tank over the time. So, cleaning should be done on regular intervals. That means there is always some sort of sludge and solid material get deposited or settle down at the bottom of the storage tank. So we always need to clean that surface on a regular interval. Well, care must be taken when decanting fluid from one tank to the storage tank, as fluid should be free from contamination such as dirt, sludge and water before it fed to the combustor. Well, whenever you want to feed your fuel to the boiler, that fuel should be free of different contamination. In order to provide contamination-free fuel for the burning purpose, care should be taken when we are decanting fluid from one tank to another tank. Well, for storage and handling of coal, minor losses associated with coal includes oxidation, wind and carpet losses. So we need to take care of such type of losses while we are handling or storing coal. The formation of soft carpet made up of coal dust and soil particle is known as the carpet loss. So this coal, on the surface of the coal, different particles of soil and coal itself are being made up. So we call this layer of coal and soil particle as carpet. The main goal of good coal storage is to minimize this carpet and oxidation losses. So this was all about the storage and handling of fuel. Now let's see how we can prepare coal in the preparation of coal. Well, this preparation does not mean that we have to manufacture coal, but this preparation of coal means the process of increasing the quality of coal. The preparation of coal prior to feeding into the boiler is an important step for achieving good combustion efficiency. Since large and irregular coal can cause problem of poor combustion and low thermal efficiency. So we always need to feed coal in a regular and correct sizes so that we always get maximum of thermal efficiency. Well, there are few steps in preparation of coal, such as the first step is sizing of coal. So coal is reduced in a size by crushing and pulverizing. So we perform crushing and pulverizing operations on a coal to reduce its size. The proper coal size help in even burning and reduce ash content and better combustion efficiency. Hence, proper coal size is one of the key measurement of ensuring that good thermal efficiency. So the proper size of coal is very important factor for the efficiency in combustor. If we feed the larger size of the coal, they will take time to get burned and they will reduce the efficiency of combustion reaction. It is necessary to screen the coal before crushing so that oversized coal is fed to the crusher. That means we always provide screening before the crusher so that we only send the oversized coal in the crusher and we can reduce the power consumption by crusher. So this was all about the sizing of coal. Now next step in the preparation of coal is the conditioning of coal. The fines present in the coal causes problem during combustion due to segregation effect. This segregation of fine from large coal piece can be reduced by conditioning of coal. That means the coal contains very small particles or small fine over the surface of it. That means they are reducing this efficiency of coal. So we can remove this fine and collect them and to produce larger coal by means of conditioning. The water helps fine particles to stick together and form larger and bigger lump due to surface tension of moisture. The water helps fine particles to stick together and form bigger lump that can be created by surface tension of moisture. That means what we are doing is we are falling this coal in the water stream so that the surface tension of water creates the large and bigger particle or bigger size of the lump of coal, and hence we can reduce the fine of the coal. Care must be taken to ensure that moisture addition is uniform and preferably done in moving or falling stream of coal. That means moisture reduces the efficiency of coal since we do not need any kind of moisture in coal. So we do not increase the moisture content of coal. If the percentage of fine is very high in coal, then wetting of coal is performed. So we always care about the moisture so that the moisture on a coal gets uniform throughout and we get uniform efficiency and uniform burning of coal. If the fine percentage is high, then we use wetting process for the conditioning of coal. So this was the second step, and now let's move to the third step and last step in the preparation of coal, and that is blending of coal. Well, in case of coal, lots having excessive fine, blending of lump coal with lot containing fine coal is done. That means what we are doing is we are having one lot of fine coals and another lot of larger size coal. So what we do is we blend both in a one mixture or one container so that we ultimately get uniform mixture of coal. That is what's being called as blending of coal. Coal blending may thus help to limit the extent of fine in coal being fired to not more than 25%. Blending of different quality of coal may also help to supply uniform coal feed to the boiler. So this step is very important as we mix two different size of coal and produces a uniform size of coal, which is very important factor for the boiler. So this concludes the preparation of coal. Well, for the exam point of view, this preparation of coal is very important question. Now let's move to the next topic, and that is principle of combustion. Well, we have already understand what do we mean by combustion. The combustion is referred to the rapid oxidation of fuel accomplished by production of heat. So complete combustion of fuel is only possible in the presence of adequate supply of oxygen. That means the combustion is the chemical reaction in which we are oxidizing our fuel. So the process of burning of fuel is known as combustion. Well, this oxygen in most of the cases supplied from air, and air also contains nitrogen. So this nitrogen present in the air consider as the temperature reducing gas. So nitrogen reduce the combustion efficiency of combustion reaction by absorbing heat from the reaction and dilute the flue gases. Here are some of the example of typical combustion reaction. When 1 mole of carbon react with 1 mole of oxygen, it produces carbon dioxide and releases around 8000 kilocalories per kg. While if 2 mole of carbon react with 1 mole of oxygen, they produce carbon monoxide and liberate energy around 2400 kilocalories per kg of carbon. Well, if hydrogen molecules react with oxygen, they ultimately produce water and releases around 28,900 kilocalories per kg of hydrogen atom. So if sulfur get reacted with oxygen in combustion reaction, it releases around 2,200 kilocalories per kg of sulfur. So this is what the typical values of combustion reaction. Now let's move to the next topic, and that is proximate analysis of coal. Well, this analysis is very important for the exam point of view. This proximate analysis gives information about practical use of coal. It involves determination of ash content, moisture content, volatile matter and fixed carbon as the weight percentage. So let's see how we can measure this moisture in measurement of moisture. Well, this represents the water content of one coal sample. It is being measured by carrying out the weighted sample of powder coal of size 200 micron in uncovered crucible. Then it is placed in oven at temperature of 108 degree plus or minus 2 degree along with the lid. This sample is then cooled to room temperature and weighted again. The loss in weight represents the moisture content. So this is how we can measure the moisture content. Here in this image, you can see that one typical instrument that is being used to measure the moisture content. It contains the crucible in the shape of cylindrical or dish in the center, where we place the sample of coal and cover it with its cover. So after certain time, we will get digitally on a display that how much moisture content of this particular sample is. So this was all about the measurement of moisture. Now let's move to the second analysis, and that is measurement of volatile matter. Well, it is determined by heating a known weight of moisture free coal sample in covered crucible at temperature around 950 degrees Celsius plus or minus 20 degrees Celsius for 7 minutes. Then this sample is cooled and weighted again. So the loss in percentage weight is represented by volatile matter. Here in the image on the top of the screen, you can see that one cup type of arrangement, which is nothing but the crucible. It is being fixed or it is being placed inside the furnace where we can achieve such high temperature. And we are allowing all the volatile matter to get escaped. Now we weight the sample one more time so that we ultimately get idea of how much weight is being lost as the volatile matter. The methane, hydrocarbon, hydrogen, carbon dioxide are typical example of volatile matter or volatile gas present in the coal. The high percentage of volatile matter indicates that the large portion of fuel is being burned as gas. This high volatile content gives long flame and smoke. It also helps in easier ignition of fuel. This high volatile matter is desirable in coal gas manufacturing because it denotes the proportion of coal which will be converted into gas after the combustion. So this was all about the measurement of volatile matter. Now let's move to the third proximate analysis, and that is ash content. Well, coal comprises of different organic compounds that are converted in the ash through the coal burning by chemical reaction or combustion. Ash commonly include silica, alumina, iron oxide and different minerals of the lime. So this is what the composition of inorganic material in the coal. The cover from the crucible used in the last stage, that is volatile matter, is now removed and the crucible is heated in Bunsen burner until all the carbon is burned and residue is weighted, which is nothing but incombustible ash. So what we do is we get the same sample that is we are using for the measurement of volatile matter and placed into the burner and allow all the carbon to get oxidized or to get burned. the residue left is nothing but the incombustible material, and that is known as the ash. Ash reduces the combustion efficiency and boiler efficiency. Well, it increases the handling cost as well. So, the low amount of ash is desirable in coal sample. Now, let's move to the next analysis, and that is fixed carbon. Well, in actual practice, fixed carbon or FC is determined by subtracting from the 100 the value of moisture, volatile metal and ash. Higher the fixed carbon is, greater the calorific value and better is the quality of coal. The percentage of fixed carbon can easily be determined by 100 minus moisture percentage, minus volatile metal percentage and minus ash percentage. So this concludes the proximate analysis of coal sample. Here in the table you can see that typical proximate analysis of Indian coal, which includes the moisture around 5.98%, while the volatile matter in Indian coal is around 20.7%, while fixed carbon is around 34.69%, and ash content of typical Indian coal is around 38.63%. So, this is what all about the proximate analysis. This proximate analysis is very important for the exam point of view. It has been noticed that this question is being asked for 5 marks, or combinedly with ultimate analysis it has been asked for 7 marks sometime. So, better you prepare this question very well. We will see you in next video. Till then, keep watching, keep learning. Thank you.